Filmmaking is the process of making a film. Filmmaking involves a number of discrete stages including an initial story, idea, or commission, through scriptwriting, casting, shooting, sound recording and reproduction, editing, and screening the finished product before an audience that may result in a film release and exhibition. Filmmaking takes place in many places around the world in a range of economic, social, and political contexts, and using a variety of technologies and cinematic techniques. Typically, it involves a large number of people, and can take from a few months to several years to complete. Stages of production. Film production consists of 5 major stages. Development, the first stage in which the ideas for the film are created, rights to books, plays are bought etc., and the screenplay is written. Financing for the project has to be sought and greenlit. Pre-production, preparations are made for the shoot, in which cast and film crew are hired, locations are selected, and sets are built. Production, the raw elements for the film are recorded during the film shoot. Post-production, the images, sound, and visual effects of the recorded film are edited. Distribution, the finished film is distributed and screened in cinemas and released to home video. Development. In this stage, the project producer selects a story, which may come from a book, play, another film, true story, video game, comic book, graphic novel, or an original idea, etc. After identifying a theme or underlying message, the producer works with writers to prepare a synopsis. Next, they produce a step outline, which breaks the story down into one-paragraph scenes that concentrate on dramatic structure. Then, they prepare a treatment, a 25 to 30-page description of the story, its mood, and characters. This usually has little dialogue and stage direction, but often contains drawings that help visualize key points. Another way is to produce a scriptment once a synopsis is produced. Next, a screenwriter writes a screenplay over a period of several months. The screenwriter may rewrite it several times to improve dramatization, clarity, structure, characters, dialogue, and overall style. The nature of the film, and the budget, determine the size and type of crew used during filmmaking. Many Hollywood blockbusters employ a cast and crew of hundreds, while a low-budget, independent film may be made by a skeleton crew of 8 or 9. These are typical crew positions. Storyboard artist creates visual images to help the director and production designer communicate their ideas to the production team. Director is primarily responsible for the storytelling, creative decisions and acting of the film. Assistant director manages the shooting schedule and logistics of the production, among other tasks. There are several types of AD, each with different responsibilities. Unit production manager manages the production budget and production schedule. They also report, on behalf of the production office, to the studio executives or financiers of the film. Location manager finds and manages film locations. Nearly all pictures feature segments that are shot in the controllable environment of a studio soundstage, while outdoor sequences call for filming on location. Production designer creates the visual conception of the film, working with the art director. Art director manages the art department, which makes production sets. Costume designer creates the clothing for the characters in the film, working closely with the actors, as well as other departments. Makeup and hair designer works closely with the costume designer in addition to create a certain look for a character. Casting director finds actors to fill the parts in the script. This normally requires that actors audition. Choreographer creates and coordinates the movement and dance, typically for musicals. Some films also credit a fight choreographer. Director of photography is the cinematographer who supervises the photography of the entire film. Production sound mixer is the head of the sound department during the production stage of filmmaking. They record and mix the audio on set, dialogue, presence and sound effects in mono and ambience in stereo. They work with the boom operator, director, DAR, DP, and first AD. Sound designer creates the oral conception of the film, working with the supervising sound editor. On Bollywood-style Indian productions, the sound designer plays the role of a director of audiography. Composer creates new music for the film. Production in production, the video production film is created and shot. More crew will be recruited at this stage, such as the property master, script supervisor, assistant directors, stills photographer, picture editor, and sound editors. These are just the most common roles in filmmaking. The production office will be free to create any unique blend of roles to suit the various responsibilities possible during the production of a film. A typical day's shooting begins with the crew arriving on the set location by their call time. Actors usually have their own separate call times. Since set construction, dressing and lighting can take many hours or even days, they are often set up in advance. The grip, electric and production design crews are typically a step ahead of the camera and sound departments. For efficiency's sake, while a scene is being filmed, they are already preparing the next one. While the crew prepare their equipment, the actors are wardrobed in their costumes and attend the hair and makeup departments. The actors rehearse the script and blocking with the director, and the camera and sound crews rehearse with them and make final tweaks. Finally, the action is shot in as many takes as the director wishes. Most American productions follow a specific procedure. The assistant director calls "Picture is up" to inform everyone that a take is about to be recorded, and then, "Quiet, everyone." Once everyone is ready to shoot, the AD calls "Roll sound," and the production sound mixer will start their equipment, record a verbal slate of the take's information, and announce sound speed, or just speed, when they are ready. The AD follows with roll camera, answered by speed, by the camera operator once the camera is recording. The clapper, who is already in front of the camera with the clapper board, calls marker, and slaps it shut. If the take involves extras or background action, the AD will cue them, and last is the director, telling the actors, action. The AD may echo, action, louder on large sets. A take is over when the director calls, cut, and camera and sound stop recording. The script supervisor will note any continuity issues and the sound and camera teams log technical notes for the take on their respective report sheets. If the director decides additional takes are required, the whole process repeats. Once satisfied, the crew moves on to the next camera angle or setup, until the whole scene is covered. When shooting is finished for the scene, the assistant director declares a wrap or moving on, and the crew will strike or dismantle the set for that scene. At the end of the day, the director approves the next day's shooting schedule and a daily progress report is sent to the production office. This includes the report sheets from continuity, sound, and camera teams. Call sheets are distributed to the cast and crew to tell them when and where to turn up the next shooting day. Later on, the director, producer, other department heads, and, sometimes, the cast may gather to watch that day or yesterday's footage, called dailies, and review their work. With workdays often lasting 14 or 18 hours in remote locations, film production tends to create a team spirit. When the entire film is in the can, or in the completion of the production phase, it is customary for the production office to arrange a wrap party, to thank all the cast and crew for their efforts. For the production phase on live-action films, synchronizing work schedules of key cast and crew members is very important, since for many scenes, several cast members and most of the crew must be physically present at the same place at the same time. Animated films have different workflow at the production phase, in that voice talent can record their takes in the recording studio at different times and may not see one another until the film's premiere. While most physical live-action tasks are either unnecessary or are simulated by various types of animators, post-production, here the video film is assembled by the video film editor. The shot film material is edited. The production sound is also edited. Music tracks and songs are composed and recorded. If a film is sought to have a score, sound effects are designed and recorded. Any computer graphic visual effects are digitally added. Finally, all sound elements are mixed in two stems, which are then married to picture, and the film is fully completed. Distribution. This is the final stage, where the film is released to cinemas or, occasionally, directly to consumer media or direct download from a digital media provider. The film is duplicated as required and distributed to cinemas for exhibition. Press kits, posters, and other advertising materials are published, and the film is advertised and promoted. A B-roll clip may be released to the press based on raw footage shot for a making-of documentary, which may include making-of clips as well as on-set interviews. Film distributors usually release a film with a launch party, a red carpet premiere, press releases, interviews with the press preview screenings, and film festival screenings. Most films are also promoted with their own special websites separate from those of the production company or distributor. For major films, key personnel are often contractually required to participate in promotional tours in which they appear at premieres and festivals, and sit for interviews with many TV, print, and online journalists. The largest productions may require more than one promotional tour, in order to rejuvenate audience demand at each release window. Since the advent of home video in the early 1980s, most major films have followed a pattern of having several distinct release windows. A film may first be released to a few select cinemas, or if it tests well enough, may go directly into wide release. Next, it is released, normally at different times several weeks apart, into different market segments like rental, retail, pay-per-view, in-flight entertainment, cable, satellite, or free-to-air broadcast television. The distribution rights for the film are also usually sold for worldwide distribution. The distributor and the production company share profits. Independent filmmaking. Filmmaking also takes place outside of the mainstream and is commonly called independent filmmaking. Since the introduction of DV technology, the means of production have become more democratized. Filmmakers can conceivably shoot and edit a film, create and edit the sound and music, and mix the final cut on a home computer. However, while the means of production may be democratized, financing, traditional distribution, and marketing remain difficult to accomplish outside the traditional system. In the past, most independent filmmakers have relied on film festivals to get their films noticed and sold for distribution and production. However, the Internet has allowed for relatively inexpensive distribution of independent films on websites such as YouTube. As a result, several companies have emerged to assist filmmakers in getting independent movies seen and sold via mainstream Internet marketplaces, often adjacent to popular Hollywood titles. With Internet movie distribution, independent filmmakers who failed to garner a traditional distribution deal now have the ability to reach global audiences.